Well, here's one of the writing kind of themes I think that you've been talking about. There's a number, but really fostering a strong employee experience. Why do we need to focus on that? How does that lead to the innovation? How does that attract the right talent that can take the AI and the technologies and really use it and flourish from it? In your mind, why do we need a strong employee experience as a foundation to all of this?
Because at the heart of company culture and whether employees choose to adopt is obviously the employees themselves. I think when we think about if HR pushes certain policies or programs, if there's no buy in, then it's just going to be looked at something that is forced down upon them. And I think in innovation, the key thing is think about where do the best ideas always come from? Either from your customers or your people working on those things. And when we think about like retention, you and I started in a previous conversation about that path. I'm like, I'm going to get some numbers for Steve. So basically, if you have a $70,000 employee, the turnover cost is literally anywhere between 126,000 to 200 $10,000 plus. And how did I get to this number? You talk about the cost of recruiting. It could be anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000 to replace the employee. Then you go into the onboarding costs and the training costs. Then you go into the institutional knowledge that you lost and how long does it take you to recover it? And then you go into the morale and the productivity loss. So I think in this conversation about transformation, as much as we want to talk about digital transformation, we have to keep that human centric lens. These technologies don't live in a silo, they affect job descriptions, they affect performance, they affect career hierarchical sort of structures within the organization. They affect so many things. So I think at the end of the day, we have to look at the employee to drive these things to validate that there's no biases because as much as we want to talk about digital transformation, as much as we get these efficiencies in terms of high volume and potentially even accuracy, you still need that human eye to vet it and ensure that it is in the right direction.
So, phenomenal numbers on lack of retention and how much it costs. If we looked at that from kind of 180-degree difference, like this idea of an employee experience that maintains and retains employees, how important is that experience for acquiring the right talent to begin with?
Oh, it is absolutely centered and super critical. When you think about the employee experience, I think where we want to ask ourselves as leaders or emergent leaders is where do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time with the 3% of the non performers and all the negative noise and issues or situations that arise from that? So I think you have to prioritize hiring the right person with the right skill set. But obviously, that requires a strategic lens. You have to have clarity where your organization is going, how your department fits into that picture, and how this role supports that impact. And then once you have that, then you build your recruiting processes, your employer value proposition, et cetera, to measure and validate that. And then, as we've been talking about, the rest of the employee experience, onboarding, and not only at a large scale with the organization but also with the team so that person has clarity on how can they contribute to the impact and bottom line of their department and organization.